The U.S. announcing 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico that are due to kick in at midnight tonight. Also, an additional 10% tariff on China. Megan Casella joins us right now with more of this breaking news over the weekend. And Megan, so many questions about whether this will be imposed, how long it will be imposed, what would be reasons for lifting some of those tariffs if they are imposed at this point. What are you seeing right now? Wrap it all up for us.
Everything's out there, Becky. It's interesting that there is still a lot of skepticism that these will even take effect when every indication that we've gotten over the past 3 days or so, really since Thursday, Friday last week, was that they would. But we'll get into some of those questions. But first, this is an opening salvo that I would say goes much further than what we were seeing in Trump's first term. The tariffs will cover about $1.25 trillion in goods, about 40% of everything that the U.S. buys from abroad. That's more than triple the level that Trump set tariffs on in his first term. There will be no exemptions, meaning no company can apply for a carve-out for their products. And the White House removed this rule that used to allow low-value packages to come in without paying tariffs, dealing a blow there to small businesses and fast fashion retailers. Trump is also acknowledging this time around that the tariffs could bring some economic pain, but he does say that the end goal of making America great again will be worth the price that must be paid. Now, the tariffs are set to take effect at midnight tonight. Trump does say, Becky, that he'll be talking with both Mexican and Canadian leaders. This morning, Mexico's president also says that she will be detailing what their retaliation will look like later today. So there is that small window left to work out a deal to get back to your original question, but it's still not clear what would satisfy Trump's concerns right now that are centered on fentanyl and border security, or at least what would satisfy them before midnight tonight. Becky?
Canada has already come out and said what their initial retaliatory impacts would be, about $20 billion of imports from the United States, things like alcohol, coffee, clothing and shoes, furniture, household appliances. And they're going to be targeting areas that are Republican-led, things like whiskeys from Kentucky, oranges from Florida, appliances from South Carolina. There's a second wave that is expected of about $85 billion that would include cars and trucks, agricultural products, steel and aluminum, aerospace products. So more to come on these fronts. And you've got Ontario and British Columbia that are already moving to block the sale of U.S. wines. I think Ontario alone, according to the Wall Street Journal, makes up about $700 million a year in sales of U.S. wines. So you could feel the impact rather quickly. Not a trade war at this point, but if you see the retaliatory measures, and then President Trump has said that he would raise the tariffs even further if there was retaliation, that's when you start to wonder where things go.
That's a key point, that there is this retaliation clause right in the president's executive order saying that he can and will likely raise these tariffs further once the other countries retaliate. All three countries say that they will. We're going to hear more from Mexico today about what exactly they're targeting. And while Canada is giving themselves a few weeks to get to their second round, there's talk, too, of things like Tesla specifically maybe seeing a 100% tariff. Obviously, that's more bluster than it is bite, but it's the kind of thing that we're likely to see in the coming days as these countries get more into it. And that's what the president could react to. He's going to be watching the markets today. He's going to be watching the currency today. You guys have been talking about the dollar. Scott Bessent has been saying before his confirmation that he doesn't want to see the dollar strengthen against other countries, that wouldn't be good to see it strengthen against other currencies. So watching things like the markets, seeing specifically what they're going to be targeting, seeing consumer reaction, some lawmaker reaction, though I should note we're seeing a lot of support from Republicans on the Hill, but a lot to still watch here in the coming days.
Yeah, we're looking at the dollar right now. It's up 1% against the Canadian dollar today. It's up 1.6% right now against the Mexican peso. It had been up about 2% earlier today. But remember, that's after we saw a very strong dollar all the way through the fourth quarter, to the point that it was an issue that a lot of companies have had to start talking about, international companies or multinational companies that are based in the United States talk about that strong dollar and how it does lessen the profits that they're bringing back from overseas. So we'll continue to hear that and kind of keep a focus on it as it comes through the earnings season, too.